we were just at Fan Expo this past weekend.
You guys were Boston, yeah, that's right. And so I saw the stuff you guys have online, and so like so that's serendipitous, nothing to do with us because we got this agreement, we got the contract a couple of years back. So they had Fan Expo, they got it after we started with them for Kadar's Quest, but that's where we're like, okay. So I go to my wife who couldn't be here. She's seeing patients right now, she's seeing clients. But the reality is that I went to her and I was like, hey, idea, what do we do? And so again, it was a whole nother sort of negotiation. Would it be cool if we, cannibalize this fiction novel, because she's an amazing writer, to then say, hey, can we make this in a narrative but also visual narrative form, like the graphic novel? And so Nadir, back to you. That's sort of where.
Yeah, well. So
before we do, and speaking of mental health, we have to take a break for a sponsor. And Sophia, why don't you tell our two guests? This is like so weird, and it happens all the time. Why don't you tell our guest about our sponsor? Well, stay up there.
The Erica Legacy Foundation. So the Erica Legacy Foundation is a foundation that helps people in need that are going through crisis mentally, emotionally. If you or a loved one are going through a hard time, please visit theericalegacy.com. They will help you.
It's now time for Quiz with Quimsel.
And Sophia on the beat, we turning heads, bringing heat to the street. Get ready now, it's our time to shine. Feel the rhythm, every move is divine. Feel the madness, it's a party in your soul. Feel the madness, let the good times roll. Feel the madness, come and join the ride.
All right, I'm going to ask a question and you're going to answer correctly. First will be the guests, then chat, and then Lewis. Today's question is, who voiced Timon in The Lion King?
Ooh. Well, first I want to say I'm sorry that we cut you off really quick. The program glitched.
Wait, me?
Yeah, you.
It's fine.
Okay, guys.
Ooh. Timon and Lion, Robin Williams.
No, I know who it is. I know.
Was it
I
you?
know who it. No, it wasn't me.
Oh, nice. No, I don't know. Who? What's your guess?
I said
Chat?
Robin Williams. No.
Yeah,
Chat.
near? No.
Nathan Lane?
Was it that kid from? Was it that actor from? Oh, what's that guy's name?
John Cena. John Cena before.
John Cena.
That'd be awesome. I'd watch that.
Wait, wasn't it that actor from Full House? Was that?
No, that was Simba, and it was from Home Improvement. No, that was Simba.
I was in the vicinity.
Yes, you were. We did have a winner.
Nice.
All right, Lewis?
And Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, of course I would know.
Nice. That is fantastic.
Who voiced?
All right.
Fantastic.
I literally just got done drawing Timon and Pumbaa 2 a couple weeks ago. Nice. Let's go.
Nice.
I remember seeing the picture. That's so cool. All right.
Yes. Spidey is awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, now it's so weird sometimes in our stream, where a couple weeks ago we had a movie star and director for a fairy tale, and a fairy tale, excuse me. And a question of the week was about, would you rather have a genie or
Fairy.
a genie or or fair or something, and it wasn't planned, it was just random, and the movie was all about whatever. And now you guys are here talking about mental health, and our sponsor is mental health. It's just crazy.
Well, if you're going to pretend we're not in a simulation, I don't know how you're going to defend that.
Let's bring up some artwork before the next break. What is going on in this scene right here? How long did it take up? And now, with Nadir, when it comes to your brother's words or your sister-in-law's words, how do you translate them into beautiful art like this?
Thanks. So the first thing I did was get rid of all of their words, because the book is almost entirely silent. Yeah, if you go through the book, there's almost no words. That was very much on purpose because I wanted to take the essence of the words and meditate on it, and really give what people are coming to comic books for. If you boil it down, it's not the words, it's the images. A comic book can survive with images, or survive without words. It can't survive without images. So I really wanted to boil it down to the essence of what I thought was the best way to describe extremely complex emotions that are very hard to put into words. And words have a way of solidifying the content, and they have a way of sort of blocking the imagination because you're describing something to somebody and that's your point of view. But when you see something that's a visual interpretation, you're putting your own perspective and your own history into the interpretation of that. And that's exactly what I wanted the audience to be, writing their own story and interpreting their own story and narrative and seeing themselves in the story. And so that's why I wanted it to be silent, but very complicated and visually dense, so that there's a lot of information in the book. And it's up to you to sort of pick out what makes sense and what's relevant to you and how you think that's impacting the characters along the story. And the story is really layered in three different sort of narrative structures. One is the very simple, you can read through it in 10 minutes. It's a relatively surface level story. The next level is finding the symbols, finding the hidden images. There's a lot of hidden images. There's a lot of puzzles. There's a lot of ciphers. There's a lot of very sort of discrete things and subtleties in there. And the third level is for the extremely obsessive to really go bananas with it the way I did and spend a lot of time with it. Have the book in your hand, turn it upside down, use it as a physical artifact, and really sort of play with it in the physical world. And that was part of my message in the book that I inserted, was sort of getting away from the cognitive dissonance of like living in the digital world and then coming back to the physical world and trying to have your brain make sense of like the disappointment of the real world after the shiny digital world that's designed to like keep us stimulated, right? And but
Okay.
then we have to exist. And so the book sort of tries to marry those concepts together and give you a way to deal with that and keep you going back and forth. So that's why the first thing I had to do was get rid of the words.
Okay.
And having the complexity was essentially taking what was extreme anxiety in the book and interpreting it from my own life experiences of what the world turns into when I'm experiencing extreme anxiety. What do people look like? What does the environment look like? How do things change? How am I interpreting those? And that's when the sort of editorial freedom came into play, because then I really was able to like just explore and explore. And when it felt right, finally, it was right. And I didn't have to conceptualize and put on paper why it was right. I knew that I felt that it was right. And this is an emotion that I've understood and experienced in my life. And it's complicated. And here I want you to interpret that as well. And so that's why they look, very dense and weird.
Groovy. Nadir, with Nadir not working with an editor, working without a net, he's taking your words, your wife's words, putting them to images. What was your reaction the first time you saw these images? Because apparently, you guys work two different, thousands of miles away. So you're seeing them. You guys have no editor. You're working on them. Was there anything that you saw and said, I want to change this? Or was everything, bro, you knocked it out of the park? Or did you look at something and go, what the hell is going on here?
We need more, because Nadir and I grew up in Istanbul, in Turkey, and so we speak Turkish, we speak English, and so we've been around the world, so we know sort of some of the barriers culturally, but also linguistically, that can occur when you're trying to read something in a language that you don't know. Like, I didn't know Turkish, and we had to learn Turkish, and so for people to sort of pick up a sort of a comic like this, it needed to be visually rich and something that could stand on its own, so that if you want to translate it or you want to sort of work on other people's people's experiences. So the big sort of piece, I think the hardest part, what Nadir was talking about, was removing those words. But we were always working in concert with one another to say, like, how would we describe this? What does trauma look like? What does a panic attack look like? What does perception versus reality look like? We've got a whole section in the book where, and some of it's, partially autobiographical and looking at, theater space where the kid, he's a middle school student, he goes into a theater, what a kid imagines his middle school theater to be, and then there's the reality. And so then there's the ciphers, and then there's a lot of the philosophical, historical, religious texts that my brother and I have read throughout the years and enjoy sharing with one another, to then say, hey, let's add some of these pieces in as well. So when Nadir would come in and say, when Nadir would come in and say, hey, check this out, it would just continuously blow us away. My wife and I were just like, this is amazing, insane. And so, and then I think the big thing that I learned was the sizing of the page itself. So I was like, is this going to look good? So our anxiety was, are the printers, because they don't do comics, are they going to do it justice? Is the fidelity going to sort of remain where you can see the shading? Because it's all, it's all black and white, just the cover and the back cover are in color. And so it blew us away. And I've seen Nadir's work progress over the decades, and it's just phenomenal. And so that's where we said, hey, I think we've got something, let's add more. And so Nadir puts like puzzles in, you said ciphers, riddles, you have to turn it upside down sometimes. There's hidden images, there was stuff. He's like, did you find the frog in every page? And I'm like, yeah, I did. He's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, I'm going to, I promise you. So it's like we've got this back and forth. And it's been like years that we've been working on this stuff. And so that's sort of the fun piece too, where now we're at a point where we're like, dude, this is something that we are proud of, but also when we show it to kids, younger kids, like 13, 14, 15, and they're able to experience it at a different level. And this sort of ties back to the stuff that Nadir was talking about with his first experience in the museum piece. So a lot of learning, but Nadir's stuff it's amazing. I mean,
yes, it is. All right, we're good. Whoa,
That's
D-Mac.
awesome, D-Mac.
Well, nice. Congratulations. That's
Yeah,
fun.
that is so awesome.
All right, I'm going to bring up another page. Let's go up this. This right here. Is this the cover of the book, the back of the book? Okay.
Yeah, that's the cover, and just sort of added that was sort of like an advertisement we created, just to give a little context. My dream in the beginning was that people would figure out that it was a graphic novel with puzzles and symbols and hidden images, and I don't know why I thought that, because that's a crazy thing to assume. So nobody quite figured that out as soon as it got published. So I started telling people that, you got to look for a little bit more than what you're used to. This goes a little bit beyond what you would normally expect from a comic. So I started giving a little bit away. And so that's where this page also came from. It's been fun when people see, and I'll be honest with you, one of my favorite things is my nephew, my brother's son, is 14 now. He was looking through the book.
He's watching this live.
Okay, cool. So he was.
Hey, what's his name?
Avram.
Abram, what's going on, my little brother? How are you?
Nice. Oh yeah, Lord Mangoat has the website. There you go.
Yeah, that's best mod in the business.
That is amazing. But so I was showing him some stuff, and he was like, he was dismissing, that's that. Oh, you misspelled something there. And I was like, did I? Look at it again. And he's looking at it, and I was like, what does that say backwards? And he read it, and he was like, oh, no way. That's awesome. You're a smart guy. You're a smart guy. And I was like, all right, I did something right. I got praise from a 14-year-old. That's good.
Oh my God. So Mango, one of our mods, best mod in the business, already brought up the website for the people that are watching it here on the live stream, and those of you watching on public access and on Pod TV. But for those that are listening on your favorite podcast app, the website, link to the website, link to the Instagram page are all in the description of this episode. So please, let's get to that description, and you can find those links, and it'll bring you right to the website now. Before we get to our next break, I do have a question. Besides the website, besides Eric's shop, Alternate Universe LLC, which is our next segment, is brought to us by, boys, where can we get the book? And where can our viewers, our fans, Angry Geeks fans that are now your fans, where can they get this book signed by you guys? Because that's, our fans are rabid. They like their stuff signed. Where can they get it signed?
Fantastic. So we will be at GalaxyCon at the end of this month, right? And Cape and Cowl Con also at the end of this month.